This episode of the RV Small Talk podcast is once again brought to you by the good folks at the NRVTA. That is the National RV Training Academy, and they do amazing things for RV owners and technicians and whomever else might want to know every single detail about the RV. It can be for maintenance, it could be for upkeep, or even repair. You can know your stuff. Here's how. The NRVTA has a training course that you can download or get on a USB key, and you will have all the information about every single system that you could possibly run across. And it starts out online, I believe, for $379 to order that, but there is a 10% discount right now if you check out with the code RV Small Talk. So use that code RV Small Talk to get a 10% discount on your at-home study course for your RV.
That's nrvta.com.
So what are your standard features, your options, the things that make your trailer or RV life go round? What do you need in your RV to make it right?
What features do you like the best about your trailer? Did you pick them when you were shopping for it? Or did you add them later? Or does it matter?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I could have just picked a trailer that they had and thought, anything can be added.
And some things can, some things can't. Mm-hmm. What's worth it, what's not? That's what we're going to talk about.
So we're going to talk about what is standard, what's optional, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And we might argue a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is everybody has a different opinion on what is the most important feature or what you should have on your RV. So
stay tuned.
Let's get into it.
Lindsay's going to opine.
Hey everybody, welcome to RV Small Talk, where we talk about lightweight trailers. Sometimes we talk about truck campers, and we talk about all the people, places, and adventures that go along with them.
Ooh, we do talk about people.
We do. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely. I'm Clint.
I'm PJ.
And I'm Lindsay. Thank you so much for listening.
We apologize now. Okay, I have to admit, you two, it is, since we deal with so many different brands and manufacturers, what comes standard or optional on all these units is a little bit confusing. Actually, it's very confusing, depending on who makes it.
I agree. And what really spurred our conversation today has been so many people shopping online, of course, because everybody is staying at home now and staying safe. But they're calling us and trying to get all the details of what's in it, what's not, how does it compare to the next one.
Right.
And there's been some eye-opening conversations that I've had about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And and we've always fielded the questions like, can this be deleted? I don't need that and whatever. And
or I need to get this trailer because it has this feature. Well, but I like that one better. Well, why don't you add it to that one?
Yeah, absolutely. And and always, even on our YouTube videos, it's why isn't this thing standard?
Yeah, well, because somebody made a decision.
Right.
And there's reasons.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's maybe talk about these things categorically, maybe.
Okay, we could kind of take each area and talk about what generally is accepted as standard, what you could upgrade on your own, and do you really need to look for this as an option when you're shopping for trailers?
Maybe this thing doesn't matter to you, or it's so easy to add later. It's just not that big a deal.
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Now, to maybe get some of this out of the way, this was confusing to me from the get-go. There are standard features that are listed on websites and in brochures, and then there are mandatory optional features. What is going on,
I remember
PJ?
when I first started working here and would see like the invoices and the MSRPs and see that phrase mandatory options. I was like,
yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it makes
something else.
It's the jumbo shrimp thing, right? Doesn't make any sense.
But they do taste good.
I'm hungry.
They do. I know. Okay.
Lindsay, you don't like seafood.
I know, but I started thinking about other food.
She's like, but even now, I would consider a deep fried jumbo shrimp.
Hey, we all got a fresh cup of coffee before we started this, so make it work for you.
Yeah. So what does that mean? What is this concept? Required
Well, the reason that the reason that manufacturers actually list things that way, there's a couple of reasons. Mm-hmm. Now, it used to be that if they had a set of options that were listed as options, even though they were on every trailer, then it doesn't have to be counted in the base weight. So that lowers the dry weight. So you could take 200, 300, 400 pounds of options out of a trailer by calling it a convenience package.
Oh, so we would be talking like extra air conditioners.
Yeah. If the air conditioner, the television, and the microwave are all part of a appliance package, then as long as it's listed as a separate package, then you wouldn't have to put it in the dry weight.
On your initial documentation website?
Yes, on your brochure or online, that kind of thing. Now, that really has changed, and there's not a lot of manufacturers that I know really do that anymore, but that's kind of where it started. The other piece to this is the way financing is done on RVs, that if you get a discount on let me see if I can explain this. This gets very confusing, guys. But as a dealer, if I pay, let's just pick a round number, $10,000 for a trailer, and then I get a discount of, say, $1,000 on it.
As a dealer.
Then I actually only pay $9,000, but it's still invoiced at $10,000, which helps me get more financed to the end buyer. So when you go in to buy it, I talk to the banks. Generally, most banks want to know how much I paid for it because that tells them how much they're going to lend on it. Well, if you give me a convenience package and you add $1,000, then you can discount me $1,000 on that invoice. And
it's still...
I pay less, but I can invoice it a little higher. I know that sounds confusing, but basically it's kind of a banking thing. So a lot of convenience packages are used in that way. Maybe a value package. Okay. So you may see something that's listed on an invoice as a value package. And that value package will have a list of options. That probably means that it's always on there. But by adding and subtracting it on the invoice, it just helps us with banking ratios. Okay. That's all. Another reason to do that, it brings it to the attention of not only the salespeople as something they can talk about on that trailer, but it brings it to the attention as a listing feature when it actually goes online or you're looking at it in a brochure.
Because eyes are automatically drawn to something that stands out a little bit. And here's your package.
Yeah. This has the deluxe package, and it includes a television and a microwave.
So that's like,
for example,
marketing straight from the manufacturer, straight from the source. They're trying to help with the marketing of their product.
Absolutely. So it highlights it, basically.
Okay.
And if you have a list of standard features, they're going to list everything from, a laminated sidewall and a powder-coated under chassis. Well, what you really want to know is, does it have a microwave? So they can bring that up to light in a convenience package.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Yep, all of those are reasons that some of this gets muddied right out of the chute.
Yeah, that is clear as a foggy night.
Yep. So what we're going to talk about is if you're looking at a certain feature that you think you want, is it something that is really important to get from the manufacturer, or is it something that maybe is an option that's on some and not on others, or is it something you can add on?
Okay, so are we going to approach this kind of as we throw out an option and we kind of go around and say that should be standard, or I think that's usually standard, or what are we going to do here?
Or I say we mention whatever it is. We made a list of all kind of the options that are on trailers or that people ask about adding. So we can talk about whether it's worth getting it from the manufacturer, having it at all, adding it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
And a lot of these items are actually items that people ask us about deleting.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
So what about, let's just start with appliances.
Sure, appliances. So
we're in Texas, ACs.
Let's start out with, the air conditioner.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all need that.
And here's
gotta have it.
Here's my notion. I am keeping this framed in my mind as RV, as a travel trailer, or truck camper, or even some other class of RV.
Sure.
If I'm talking RV, then I want an air conditioner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like that's standard for us down here.
But I mean, it used to be that it was always an option because it helped keep your weight and your price down. Some manufacturers are putting it in as a standard feature. There is a trend to start to add certain things as standard, and then they get to only build it one way, and it comes loaded up. These are all loaded up.
Right. Then the manufacturer, I guess, doesn't have to work so hard because things aren't being added and deleted. It's like they just build the trailers.
There's less shuffle.
Yes, when it's going down the line, you don't have to figure out what goes on which one.
So is an air conditioner something that's easy to add afterwards? I've seen people add air conditioners to like vintage units, like window ACs. Could you do a ducted AC after the fact?
I think as long as it's like a roof mount system that just kind of pours out.
Right.
That's easy because the vent sizes are pretty standardized, and you just buy an AC that fits a very common vent. Just cut a hole in the ceiling
and not you, but
utilize them.
And that's the cool thing. You don't have to cut a hole in the ceiling.
It's using a hole that's already there if it's a vent.
All of the vents on the roof are going to be 14 by 14 unless it's a big skylight or something like that. They're all going to be 14 by 14. And that's the same hole that an AC goes in. So what you want to look for from the manufacturer, if it doesn't have an AC, is that it's pre-wired from the manufacturer.
The pre-wired.
Because you do need a certain type of wiring to come to that vent.
That makes sense.
So if that vent is pre-wired for an AC to be added, adding it is really easy.
Right. However, a ducted system, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, you'd have to go non-ducted. The ducted system needs to come from the factory, period.
Okay.
Because that cuts through the insulation that's in between the ceiling and the roof, obviously. Yeah, you can't really do that after the fact.
Yeah.
But adding a non-ducted system in one of those 14 by 14 vents, super easy. Same with a fantastic fan. If you wanted one of those high-powered fans, now that doesn't need to be pre-wired, although it's nice if it is.
Right.
But you can usually pull voltage from a nearby light somehow.
They just fish some wires there.
Yeah. Same size hole, you just switch it out. And a lot of people we're finding now, they want a certain type of air conditioner or a certain brand that's quieter or something like that.
Right.
So if it isn't the AC that you want, you could switch it out pretty easily. It just unbolts, kind of sandwiches. A bottom and top on the roof, so you could take it off, put a new one on. Now, not to say it's cheap, you have to buy the AC.
Yeah.
But
now let me say, I understand if I lived in a different place other than where we live here in Texas. If I were up in Nova Scotia or something like that, the Pacific Northwest or something, even a northern latitude, I would probably say, I don't need an air conditioner. I think that's a big deal as we get inquiries from people up north of where we are. And that does make sense.
Yeah, but you know what? I think an AC is something that, RVs are meant to travel. They're meant to go places. So if you camp more than 100 miles from where you are, you might need an AC. You ever going to take a trip to Florida? Can you imagine camping in Florida in a trailer without an AC? Maybe.
Nope.
Maybe that's
I'm
true.
Good.
Well, here's another reason why not one of those really small truck campers on a Toyota Tacoma.
Okay. Now there's always exceptions.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
All right, so they just want to save weight or something.
But the thing we do get a lot of questions about is a second AC.
Yes.
So can you add a second AC easily?
Absolutely no.
Good save. All right. You saw her face.
Yeah.
I was shaking my head. No.
And the reason being is
if it's already pre-wired for it, yes. If it comes from the factory with a pre-wire for two ACs. And the reason
that's not super common, correct?
It isn't super common. Okay. No.
Would that be
But it is out there.
Require a jump from 30 amp to 50?
Yep. That's the thing. You've got to have a bigger converter. You got to have 50 amp service. And so it's a whole different wiring. So can't just add a second one. I wish that was that easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next item that we see people argue about being standard or optional and whatever, microwave or even the microwave convection oven combinations.
Now this is such a odd thing to me.
Yeah? Why?
I don't know. First of all, most trailers have a microwave option, right?
I think so.
So if you're looking at a trailer that doesn't have a microwave, as long as you look inside the cabinet to see if there's a 110 plug, which by law, the 110 plug has to be accessible. It can't be hidden behind the microwave.
Okay.
Usually they've got a little hole that goes
into the next
through
cabinet.
a sidewall into the next cabinet, right? So as long as that plug is there, you buy the right size microwave and put it in you take the cabinet door off, put it in there, and there's a faceplate that goes over the microwave. It is a super simple do-it-yourself project.
Okay. But should it be standard or optional?
Well, whether it should or shouldn't be, I don't think is the biggest question. Depends on if you want it. Most microwaves
definitely
are
the
optional.
biggest question.
Is it?
It's pretty.
No, most microwaves are optional.
It's a big argument on a lot of our walkthrough videos.
Okay, so what if it's optional and you find the trailer of your dreams at a super low price?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have it.
This
Do you
is where
pass
it goes
up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a microwave is really easy to add.
Or take out.
But
as long as you have a 110 plug in the cabinet.
Right. But the ones that are already built in are kind of nice because they're exactly where they're convenient and they're already built in there. It's not just like setting a microwave in a cabinet.
Okay, but what if the trailer has a microwave option? And since this one didn't have it, they just put a cabinet door on the front, which is normally what happens.
Right.
Do you pass up a good deal?
I don't.
No, not for a microwave.
Or do you take the cabinet door off, you put some bracing underneath to hold that microwave, the faceplate covers over the holes and the cabinet opening because that's how microwaves are put in. You just put a faceplate over it and you plug it in and you're as good as factory.
Yeah.
That's my point. Whether you need it or not, people pass up
a good deal.
A good trailer because it doesn't have a built-in microwave.
Or because it does.
Well, that's just not right.
That's so I
just
don't,
not right.
Don't pass it up that way.
Okay.
Or you could always set one on the counter too and just plug it in. They're not that hard.
Okay.
Oven?
Yeah, in the same vein, the oven option.
Ew.
Oh.
Sometimes, I don't know. I like the idea of an oven.
Ooh, say that again. Oven.
Oven. But I honestly, I don't know how many times I would actually bake mini muffins because that's literally the only thing you can fit in a lot of those ovens. They're tiny.
People would differ with that. There's ways. Some of them are bigger.
You're right, but I'm thinking of the tiny ones because that's what we have.
I mean, that's how I warm my socks in the morning.
I know, yeah.
That's where I store my pots and pans.
It's like an easy bake oven. You can fit like one muffin.
It has a light bulb in there.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger question that we get is, yeah, it has an oven, but I don't want an oven. Can I get it without? Can I take the oven out?
No, the oven is a cabinet, y'all.
Not always.
Just use it as a cabinet?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
I see.
put your pots and pans in the oven. It's the same thing as a cabinet. Just don't turn it on.
And you can see what's in the cabinet if it has a glass front.
Yeah.
You just turn a light on the outside.
You guys. Well, you adding them in or taking it out is hard to do. So I vote buy a trailer with or without the oven, depending on what you want. Don't try to do that later on. That needs to be a gotta have if you gotta have it.
Okay, so that one you would consider possibly a deal breaker.
That would be a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. What about a tankless water heater?
2 years ago, we would say, gotta have it in there. But now there's some cool stuff out there, and there are some that completely fit in the very same space. So you can replace your regular 6-gallon or 10-gallon water heater with a tankless.
Okay. So it's an easy plug and play retrofit.
It is a retrofit. Yeah, something you could do.
What kind of dollar amount would you say switching out would be?
Ooh, I'd be guessing. I would be guessing. More than 2, less than 6.
For the equipment. Maybe not so much if you paid someone to install.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's somewhere in there, depending on what you're looking at.
So,
and that's a guess, guys. I don't have a computer open in front of me.
Yeah.
But I do know that you can change those out. The biggest problem is most people think a tankless water heater means instant hot water.
Oh, yeah. That's a big mistake.
And that's not it. So, I don't know.
So if it's something that you want, what are you doing?
waving at
there's
gnat.
a gnat going for my coffee, and that is just
it's
not
now
cool.
in your coffee.
No, it's not.
Oh, he was.
Oh.
There's a gnat swimming in your coffee.
Let's name him Sammy.
Sammy the gnat.
Swim, Sammy.
Coffee with protein or without protein?
I really thought we could get through some of this without you having to make a lot of cuts, but no.
Oh, no, we're not cutting that.
Why is this
Oh,
a
We're
cut?
only 4 dots in. Come on.
Okay.
Dots. Ha. Outside kitchen. I mean,
Yeah, that.
you obviously can't add or subtract an outside kitchen.
You know what?
Yeah, you can.
You can on an RPod. On
you
certain
can.
units. The units that can have an outside kitchen, it's a set in, set out.
Yeah.
And if you have a space,
Oh, that like pulls
Yeah.
out. I guess I'm thinking
No, it's
the
not
whole
a- it's not
clamshell
a-
thing.
it's not a full huge kitchen, but they do make ones that can go set in and either be on rails or go on a slide out.
Well,
tray.
you know, even in the bigger
No,
trailers like the Lances, that
Yeah.
big setup, I mean, it's really on rails. That could be
Yeah.
pulled out too. And then it's just more
Yeah.
outdoor storage.
So really, all you really need is if you just want a cooking surface and maybe a outside sink, all you really need is the gas port, right?
Yeah.
And you'd have to rig it. You'd have to be a pretty good do-it-yourselfer, but it's doable. Yeah, I don't know. I am not a good person to ask on this because I think I would prefer just setting up my camp kitchen.
Yeah.
That's
somewhere
the thing
else.
is, yeah, everybody has their favorite camp stove
Yeah.
or grill that they already use. A lot of people are coming from tent camping or used
Yeah.
to setting up their own kitchen. So when it comes to setting up an outdoor kitchen, if your trailer already has one, it might not, be what you're
Right.
used to or at the right height. I find sometimes it's awkward.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a table and a grill and a bucket of water.
I
And-
wonder if like event RVers are more prone to get something, be searching for an outdoor kitchen, like maybe people going to races
like
or
sports,
festivals.
yeah, like
Yeah, see, I don't know.
tailgating.
Yeah.
I would
obviously.
think the opposite. I can tell you that from all the discussions we've had here, we are not a big outdoor kitchen group.
Right.
Because if we're going to cook outside, we're cooking somewhere else.
Well, we have a fire and I already have a Coleman stove.
And I don't want my face up against that trailer while I'm cooking. But I mean, outside kitchens,
And I need the storage.
and there you have it. So I don't know. That one's up in the air. We probably don't have any good opinions on this one.
Okay.
Although there are ways to add them on the outside. But if you're going to do that, why not just bring your own outside
Now,
kitchen?
can you add an exterior gas hookup if your trailer doesn't have one? How easy
Absolutely.
is that?
Yeah.
Not hard at all.
That's
That
piping
is
and a fitting.
Not
Yeah.
hard at all.
So if you didn't have an outdoor kitchen, but you still want to kind of create your own,
Right.
you can just add a gas port.
you can.
And those gas ports are amazing because, of course, you can hook up another stove or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been, every time I go into a place that has these big old, I don't know, Blackstone or whatever,
Yes,
grills and
Mhm.
griddles, those things are amazing.
they are, aren't they?
They're heavy, but they're
It even
amazing.
makes me want to cook, all right?
Right.
It even makes me want to cook.
I dream of other people cooking stuff on it and me eating. Like I can see omelets on there.
That's me too, I guess.
No
yeah.
idea what y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
I'll show you pictures on.
So outside grills that you can do. So if all you want to do is cook outside, adding that gas port. Now, don't do it yourself. It is not a good do-it-yourself project
Mhm.
because, first of all, to work on appliances, we have to be certified.
Yeah.
Gas is dangerous, and you'll want to do a serious gas check when you're done to be
Right.
sure there's no leaks. Not a good do-it-yourself project, but something that an RV dealer could add for you
Yeah.
pretty easily.
Mhm.
It is not an expensive add-on. So don't buy a trailer because it has a gas port or an outside kitchen. If all you want is an outside grill,
Yeah.
do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All
What
right.
about this, PJ? Would it be a deal breaker if you did or did not have a 12-volt reefer?
Well, what? All right.
Doobie doobie doo.
Let's
Are
talk
you-
about refrigerators, okay?
Are
Can we?
are you vaping your cannabis now?
I am not vaping my cannabis now. But the 12-volt refrigerators are really coming into fashion. They're becoming more available.
Vogue.
Vogue.
Yeah. They're coming into vogue. They have made those interchangeable size-wise.
Yeah,
So
they fit into standard size cavities, so why not?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. They're still not cheap, but they do fit into a standard size. So if you replaced one, you could do it. If your refrigerator dies, you want to consider a 12 volt. Very doable.
Yeah. We've talked about the pros and cons of them already in another episode, but I could talk about the pros and cons all over again. Just not right now.
Yeah. If you're going to buy a new one and that's important to you, I think that's a super cool feature. And refrigerators are expensive, so you might want to get that from the manufacturer.
Yeah. And Lindsay,
what?
The next deal or no deal?
Fireplace.
No
deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
final answer.
I think it's funny because the first one was air conditioner, and we were like, yes, and the last one's fireplace. No, but that's because we're in Texas, so I guess it depends on where you live. Now, I have to say, the fireplaces I've seen in these RVs are pretty cool because they can do the lights without the heat, and so if you like an ambiance.
Okay, I think something that's coming into focus for me is our vantage point is all three of us take shorter trips usually. A little bit local. Usually it's over a long weekend or something like that if we can manage it. We're not doing the longer multiple week trips.
Darn. And why aren't we?
Because we have to work here.
I have to record a podcast every week.
I'm sorry.
So I think
if
I were doing the multiple week, maybe, long distance kind of trips, the epic trip that one day we'll do, fireplace might be a little bit more interesting just because of how much time I'm spending in that space.
If you have a flat wall, you can add an electric fireplace. If you have a wall space that can hold it. Okay. And even one that has the electric heat that'll have a little blower in it. Yeah. I mean, all you need is power to it. Yeah. So it's not that hard, but most RVs aren't made with wall space. Yeah. So it's tough to add.
And for
that's true.
Yeah.
But you don't have a space to put it.
But if you want bang for buck and you already have a TV in your trailer, your RV, there's apps and all that, like Roku. You can actually search for a continuous fireplace loop.
Not the same.
And then turn your furnace on.
Yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom. Fix that one, Lindsay.
And that video loop has the crackle and all that.
Okay, can we move on?
Okay, next category.
Entertainment and electronics. Honestly, all of this, everything in this category should be optional. I'm just saying.
That's the camper in you. That's not the RVer in you.
But
how many fights online are there about televisions?
Oh,
not that many actually.
Really?
There are a lot of fights about other things.
You are so helpful.
Like where this virus came from.
Right, but if we're talking about television.
It's because I know. I saw something on the list that made me think of that. Outside speakers.
Oh, that one. Ooh, that one starts fights.
I saw that earlier and I was like, oh man, there's so many fights online. And I've actually noticed manufacturers starting to not put outdoor speakers on their units.
Well, with Bluetooth speakers, really?
No, that's
the
point.
Do you need outdoor speakers anymore?
Is you can have a speaker next to you. It can be quieter, but you can still hear it. And if you're out in the middle of nowhere and no one can hear you and you want to have a flippin' dance party, then guess what? You can buy 4 Bluetooth speakers and place them in a circle.
But play them low so you make friends.
You can actually upset the entire campground.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Some people are so bent on outdoor speakers. And honestly, I don't get it. These are $15 speakers at best.
Yeah, but
they sound terrible. And for anybody who wants any type of good music, a $30 Bluetooth speaker is easy.
Yeah, but Lindsay's about to make a point.
My phone sounds better than an outside speaker.
Lindsay, I think step on in here.
I think it's more about having something else to not only buy, but something else that you have to keep up with, keep charged, pack, unpack, something else when just, instead of putting up a 10 by 10, you just want to push a button and have your awning come out. Instead of getting out your Bluetooth speakers, making sure they're charged, pairing them to your phone, you just want to push a button and know that you have some music outside.
Well, first off, I am totally offended by the idea of you comparing a power awning to outside speakers. I just want to say.
Why?
Because you grew
it's
up
convenience.
You're in the world of power awnings now. But for those of us who had decades of trying to put out manual awnings and the craziness, the power awning is an awesome, amazing convenience.
Yeah.
Outside speakers are just
right, but it's all a convenience.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's all
true.
just people's
Okay, well,
argument for not having outdoor speakers.
Everybody, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are not exactly
they are
views and
totally
opinions
the
of
views
Clint.
and opinions.
Yeah, right. You're the only one safe from this. Okay,
Well,
but
no, 'cause
we
I
actually skipped. Like y'all started talking about TVs, and I like took that and I just ran to speakers. So let's
one way to
moonwalk it
avoid
back.
this.
Moonwalk it back.
She's getting so far away from the mic.
Hello. Back to TV.
Okay, well, I do hear people say, I want to buy this one because it has the TV in it.
Yeah, that's so bizarre to me.
Me too. TVs are $100.
Yeah, and okay, so like the Jensen line, I guess
are
they've been
people that lazy that they'll pay $5,000 more for one that has a TV?
But it's already there. It's already hooked up. It already works. It's already wired.
Yeah, and I
This is me playing devil's advocate. I could care less.
You know, I get the crowd of no, I get away. I go out to the woods to get away from everything, and then there's the more RV in air quotes crowd where they're going places and seeing things, but they want it to feel a little bit like their own personal home out there. The television gets me because it is so easy to install yourself. The marketing behind like the Jensen products is it's already been vibration tested and all that. It's made for RVing.
Okay, well, that's the second point. So a Jensen TV is a little different because a Jensen TV, it's 12 volt. So it runs off the battery. You don't have to plug in your trailer to watch TV.
Yeah.
You can send the kids out to the camper in the driveway and tell them to go watch that stupid show in the trailer. And they can do it.
Wait, I can do that?
You can do that.
If it has 12 volt
Well,
TV.
I can do that?
I don't know. Yours are 4 and 2. Not yet, unless you go with them. So, but yeah, so a 12 volt TV is going to cost you $300 to $400 generally. I mean, we're talking a standard 19 inch something, 23 inch, but you can get one of those TVs much larger, regular 1-teen TV from Walmart for $100 if you catch it on sale.
So I think if a TV is important to you, I would think 12 volt would be important too, right?
Well, it depends on if you're always in a campground, then maybe the regular TV is fine. But know which one it is that comes with it. And then I say, if TV is important and it doesn't have it, look on that option sheet and see how much it costs.
Yeah.
Very often you can pay $400 or $500 for a $100 TV in an RV.
Yeah.
Shame on those manufacturers. I just made a whole lot of enemies, but that's the truth. I think TVs are just crazy because people look for them and they buy RVs because they have a TV.
Yeah.
Getting real with PJ.
Yeah. Well, I'll drink my coffee now.
All right. Do y'all want to talk about speakers some more?
I don't know that I do. I hate bad speakers. I hate cheap car speakers. I think why waste the plastic?
Yeah.
I mean,
you're a little closer to an audiophile.
It's true.
You actually want quality.
Yeah. No,
audio.
I totally agree with you too.
And how many customers do we spend umpteen hours trying to chase a loose wire on a speaker?
Yeah. And there are such good Bluetooth little portable speakers that have great quality. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Come on.
Yep.
You can even buy a little mount for your Bluetooth speaker so you always have a place to put it back in your trailer on the wall.
That's right.
Buy one that lives in your trailer. I mean, goodness knows we buy everything else to live in our trailer. Buy a Bluetooth for your trailer. I don't know. Okay. That's me.
What about satellite prep?
Satellite dishes and pre-wired for satellite. I don't know. That's a personal preference to me.
Is it easy to do after?
Yeah, that's the question. Is it easy?
It's not.
Nobody cares what you want. We just want to know if it's easy.
It is. And it is right along the same lines as solar. I know it's not on this entertainment list, but it's along the same lines as solar. Everybody wants to say it's pre-wired for solar. It's pre-wired for satellite. And you know what? That does that does help, but there's no reason that you can't add that on later. Oftentimes when people say it's pre-wired for those things, there is a wire floating around somewhere in the roof. And we have to call them and say, where is the wire? And they say, well, cut a hole right here and then fish around, see if you can find it. If not, it could be kind of to the left or falling down.
Else. Those are the craziest calls.
Yeah, they are. So if it's not pre-wired for satellite or for solar, that doesn't mean you can't add it.
Yeah. Okay.
So add whatever you want.
Okay. So maybe venturing a little bit further into the electrical, a category of electrical, what about LED lights?
What about LED lights?
Is that something that should be
It's just a bulb
standard?
change, right? Can you just change the bulb?
Yeah. Easy, cheap. And the argument for most people is it saves your battery.
It saves your battery, and they're a lot cooler. Like not as much heat.
Not like Fonzie cool.
Nope, not like Fonzie cool. And you can always change them. There was a time when we had a huge array of LED lights on our parts wall. And we sold them because we converted everybody to LEDs. And I remember also when the lights, what do you call them? Reading lights weren't LED, and they'd get so hot that they'd burn you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And lights in bunks where kids are that would burn you. It's just dumb.
So, I mean, obviously, most people, the majority of people would say, yeah, LED is the way to go. However, there's a pretty vocal crowd out there that says LEDs are bad for you.
Yes.
And is it easy to go the other way?
Nope.
You can't retrofit it backwards.
Not that I know of. It's tough to go backwards. A lot of them are single fit recessed lightings.
Good question, Clint.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you hate LEDs,
heavy hitter today, y'all.
You may have to replace full
your
light
whole
fixtures.
trailer.
Yeah. You may be able to. Yeah. I'd like to trade in my trailer. I need different lights. But there are some fixtures that you can change the bulbs in.
Okay, cool.
But some you can't. So, yeah, LED lights are cool. I think it's become kind of a standard thing now.
Yeah. Okay.
On new trailers.
What about a plug, an exterior plug for a portable solar panel like the Zamp or the Go Power?
I know for a fact that's easy to do afterwards.
Okay, well, shut that one down.
But I know that there's also, a debate like there always is about, some people really like the portable solar panels where you just need the plug on the side. And some people really want the solar panels on the roof. And in order to get them on the roof, it has to be, like PJ was saying, pre-wired.
Yeah, that's a different plug.
So easy to do a side plug, not so easy to retrofit a roof solar panel.
Very
Is that right?
doable.
Exactly.
Very doable.
Doable, but it's not nearly as... I don't know.
And I guess we see it both ways. When you're talking about pre-wiring for the rooftop solar, sometimes they say, it's pre-wired, which means they ran a wire from somewhere to somewhere.
Okay, so that's a
and
fishing
then you
the
have
wire
to
situation.
Fish it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it means that they put a nice little connection place on the roof where you can simply just plug them in and connect it and add extra solar panels as well.
Yeah.
So that's a question to ask, I think, is if you want a ton of solar and this has one panel, is it a panel that you can add to?
Okay.
That's a question to ask. But yeah, you can always make something work. Pre-wire doesn't necessarily mean it's easy, though.
Gen ready.
Oh, the Gen ready.
Oh, this means so many different things.
Tell me more.
Well, they can say, it's Gen ready, which means everything's kind of nearby. And all you need to do is to replace the floor in the compartment.
Okay.
And buy a muffler kit that's specially made that will fit in this space. And move the gas port to the inside and seal it off. Run the wiring from here to here.
That is the most non-ready I've ever heard.
Yeah, I think you just sold.
That's Gen not ready.
Yeah, if I want a generator, I think I want it from the manufacturer.
You know what? There are some that are easier and some that are not. It's kind of like that solar pre-wire. So take a look. If you see something and they say, oh, it's gen ready, you can add a generator to this.
Well, and I think the biggest, one of the biggest things is finding a spot for it.
Yeah.
Like that's everybody's question is like, where do I put the generator? And unless your trailer has a specific generator holdy placey.
Yes.
Ooh.
With a venti.
Technical.
And then you're out of lucky.
And those are the trailers. It's hard to get through this. Those are the trailers that sometimes, they say, yeah, it's gen ready, but how really ready is it? So, yeah, sometimes it's not.
Are you
not
ready
very
for
ready.
this, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It is not a plug and play. All right. So that's what people need to know.
Let's go ahead and skip the next one. Thanks.
Oops.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and not talk about that one.
What is the next one?
Lithium batteries.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is an easy one, though.
Okay. Go.
Yeah. Lithium batteries can be added to anything. It's just a matter of how much other stuff you have to change.
Yeah, because oftentimes they want to maybe relocate or something like that because of recharging temperatures and things like that.
Well, lithium batteries don't actually charge well when it's really cold. Mm-hmm. So people like to put them inside.
Like
inside
underneath
a compartment
or
under a bed. And you can do that
mm-hmm.
because they don't need vents for the off-gassing.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to check and see if the converter that is in your trailer will actually convert and have an adapter for lithium. Some do and some don't. They're starting to use those now, but if your trailer's more than a year or two old, you're probably out of luck. You're going to have to change the converter too. So That's the short of it. Always can be added. Worth doing from the factory if you can.
You think so? Okay.
Yep.
I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people going for it after the fact, just because of the benefits.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly doable as well.
Yep.
Most of the time. Okay.
Yep. And you know what? That's probably not going to be something that people decide on a trailer whether it has lithium or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not really common as a standard feature yet.
Yeah.
But it's an easy add-on.
It's definitely gaining popularity and people are talking about it more and more. So,
and I think with all the new stuff that comes out next year, it's all going to be, many of them will have a lithium option from the factory.
I think pretty near to that conversation, oftentimes people are also bringing up inverters.
Yep.
Is that kind of a deal breaker topic?
Inverters can be added to anything.
Mm-hmm. They're not that big, really.
Yeah. The new thing now is to have a solar panel and an inverter on board.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That allows you to work a 110 plug or maybe 2, 3, 4 110 plugs.
Depending on what you're running. Yeah, sure.
Right. Run a laptop or something pretty easily.
You can always add it depending on how it's wired. If it's available from the factory, it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Okay.
It's probably going to be a lot cheaper.
Okay. They get to buy in bulk, I guess.
Yeah. And they get to put it in there when they're actually building it. So that's the thing. Solar panels on the roof are usually a lot cheaper when they're building the trailer, and so are the inverter packages.
Okay.
So, and lithium as well. Those big, heavy, expensive things, always cheaper to get from the factory. I would double check the pricing on those.
Okay. Very good. All right. And then backup camera.
We hear this one all
installed.
The time.
Yeah.
Very common aftermarket ad.
What do you think?
I think it's a very common aftermarket ad.
Tell us what you really think.
I think it's a very common aftermarket ad.
I think everyone has turned off our podcast by now.
No, it's true. I mean, like, I get a lot of people asking about a backup camera because usually it's not standard.
Uh-huh.
But again, just like the solar, the wiring might be there.
Yeah.
And then you need to add the camera.
Well, and as far as wiring goes, it's really usually a 12-volt system. And what you'll find is even from the factory, a lot of those backup cameras, they're wired into one of the tail lights. So as long as you turn on your headlights of your tow vehicle or just whatever, that powers the backup camera.
Well, that's how we do it. A lot of the manufacturers will also, some of them will add a switch to turn it on and off. So,
but it's a 12-volt system still.
Yeah, still is. And that's one of the options that has really kind of normalized between a dealer added option and a factory added option. Mm-hmm. The price isn't that different. So don't let it deter you if you're looking at a trailer and you want to add that to it.
Mm-hmm.
I just wouldn't let that be a reason to buy something because it had a backup camera and a television.
Yeah.
That's just not the right thing. Buy the trailer you love. You can add both those things pretty easily.
I want to know if anybody else gets nauseous with backup cameras. Is it just me?
You get
I can't.
motion sickness so easily anyways.
I can't stand like looking at a screen and going the opposite way. It's very weird to my, what do you call it? You know,
Equilibrium?
your inner ear fluid.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you learned how to drive. The motion is just so hard for you.
Your semicircular canals just go nuts.
What?
Yeah, never mind. That's the geek.
All right, we're moving on.
I want to talk plumbing. Okay?
All right, straight to the toilet talk.
Yeah. Can you add a porcelain toilet to anything?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Mostly.
What I mean, if I'm in the drive-thru, I want a combo. I would like to upgrade that combo to a porcelain toilet. I can't?
You can sometimes, but they don't always fit. Because the plastic toilets sometimes they made extra narrow. Or what if it's sitting on a platform because they had to put that black tank on the floor underneath the thing? Then the base of the toilet's only like 8 inches tall, and they don't make a short porcelain toilet.
So that might be something that you want to buy the trailer with the toilet that you want, because that's not the easiest thing to change.
Or at least talk to the dealership and measure it and be sure there's something to replace it if you want to change it. And the only reason I know this is because we have run into this on several occasions. Oh. So
you sound super happy about that too.
Yeah. I mean, discussing...
Didn't go well.
Toilets that do and don't work, and how do you want your feet to dangle and that kind of thing. It's just
you have to be so high your feet would dangle. Like a step stool to get on the toilet.
So many short toilets out there. I'm a big guy, y'all. Short toilets aren't fun.
I know. Well,
they're not.
Tall toilets are not fun. All right. Speaking from
they're totally fun.
No.
You feel like a little baby kid on the potty.
Life is harder when your feet dangle. Okay.
The fun rating of a toilet here, y'all.
I think my perfect fun height is like.
Well, if they haven't,
I'm having so much fun.
Would you rate this an 8, a 9, or a 10?
Okay, all I can say is if you haven't turned us off by now, I don't know why. Okay.
So it's not so easy to add a black tank flush to a unit, and you can just decide if you don't have a black tank flush, just dump a bag of ice in the toilet and drive down the road.
Or buy a $12 toilet wand to stick down the toilet.
A toilet wand sounds magical.
Yeah, I know. Well, if your feet are dangling.
It's only for fairies.
Okay.
What if you don't like shower curtains and you want one of those like accordion doors that they make?
There's no way that can be hard, huh?
It's not hard.
You just need like the track.
Yeah, and they make them in all different sizes, and it is an easy do-it-yourself project.
So not a make it or break it if you don't like a shower curtain.
They also have those swivel curtains at the top.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a corner, well, even with a corner shower, those swivel curtains so that you can swivel it in and out of your way. And
those are pretty cool.
To make more space.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of cool options there. Super easy to add yourself.
Okay, so while we're getting all clean in the lavatory, what about the outdoors, an outdoor shower?
What do you think?
It's got to be pretty easy to put one of those in.
It is, and people don't realize that. There's plumbing usually accessible somewhere. And as long as, usually behind the sink in the bathroom, you can attach the plumbing and the hot and cold water right there, fit that little piece in the wall on the outside, and voila, you've got an outdoor shower.
The tubing
Super
and the
easy.
fittings and all that are pretty cheap.
Yeah,
and they're
I mean,
easy to connect. It's
just
almost
not
like
hard to add.
Legos.
Yeah, I mean, not every unit is going to work, but it's much easier to add than people think.
I like how there's a outdoor shower, and then the next one is an outdoor spray port.
Yeah.
Same thing? Yeah?
I don't know. Sounds difficult.
I mean, spray port is down here, shower's up here.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
I mean, whenever you delete the hot water option, you pretty much have a spray port.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What about heated tanks, your storage tanks, holding tanks?
Can you heat?
Can you add?
I've never had that question before. Can you add a heated tank?
I think that you can add things like kind of like an electric blanket system.
Exactly. Heating pad.
A heating pad?
Just stick it on there and attach it to like a 12 volt.
Like take a heating pad, plug it in, and then just like duct tape it to the bottom of your water tank?
Well, I wouldn't duct tape it, but there are ways to attach it. But you know what? Think about it. If you have a true 4-season trailer, a lot of times people will want to keep their fresh water from freezing when they're like driving in really cold weather. So a way to do that is to have a heating pad. Even if you have heated and enclosed tanks that are down in a compartment, you're not running your furnace going down the road most of the time. So that's something that's done. And adding a heating pad to tanks, not that difficult and not that expensive.
Really? Yep. I didn't know if it was difficult because you have to get into that cavity or what have you.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends on how it's made, but on a standard trailer, it is not that difficult to do.
Okay, what about a water filter? Because I've see so many people, they put those just at the faucet outside or what have you. But
yeah,
and
I think there's
on
all
board,
different kinds.
Like a reverse osmosis or something.
Oh.
Ooh. If you've got compartment space somewhere, they make built-in ones you can do. Sometimes they're built into trailers with a water filter and they talk about how great it is.
Yeah.
But it is just takes a act of Congress to pull things apart and get to it and change the filter.
Right.
In which case, nobody ever changes them.
Right. And I maybe a reverse osmosis isn't the right idea because you're camping and those things waste water. They use a lot of water.
They do.
So maybe just a regular filter.
But outside filters are an easy option to add if you don't have something built in your trailer. That isn't something that I think is as common on trailers. You see it on motorhomes. I mean, it's part of a really nice motorhome rig's going to have that.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry about that.
Outdoor conveniences like an electric tongue jack on your trailer.
You can add that.
Yeah. Easy to add, but is that a make it or break it?
Oh, no. So easy to add. Easy peasy.
Okay. And again, not that expensive.
Right?
In the grand scheme of things.
That is true. That is true.
This one might be a different animal, though. Electric stability jacks.
Yeah, if you have electric stabilizer jacks on every corner, adding those, wiring them, putting motors on them,
the controls.
The switches, the controls.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Get it from the manufacturer.
If that's it for you.
Get a factory installed warranty on it. Absolutely. Do not add that yourself.
Okay. I know we've done some axle upgrades here, aftermarket. Is that an easy thing or?
I think that depends on what type of axle. If it's a torsion axle, those are usually cheap and bolt on, right? So that's easy. But if it's more of I forget the other terms I'm reaching for here. But there's other
like
axles that are more.
I am not going to help you out on that.
Well, if you've got a regular leaf spring axle, they're not even that hard either.
Okay.
But yeah, axles, we generally see that here when people say, I want the off-road package.
Yeah.
And it's a heavier axle or it's a drop axle. And by having a drop axle, you actually raise the base of the camper. So you get more clearance underneath.
Yeah. So
if that's what you're looking for, that's really not a hard change.
The difficulty comes in if you want to change the type of axle system.
Yeah. I mean, you want to stick with what you've got. You just go with a different style. And so that's not hard to do. But it is not inexpensive either. I mean, there is a little bit of expense with that. So that's something that, unless it's a specific trailer that, comes with a bigger axle and that trailer doesn't have it, then you might just ask, can I get the bigger axle put on this?
Okay.
That's something the dealer can do for you.
Yeah. And oftentimes an axle is a part of like an off-road package upgrade.
Right.
Which would be oftentimes the axle, maybe wheels, tires, a rack on top.
Yep.
Should you go ahead and do that from the manufacturer, or should you see, no, I'll get the base trailer and I'll add those axles, tires, roof rack, and storage bin or whatever?
It's usually cheaper if you get it from the manufacturer for sure.
Yeah, because they can bundle it all and make sure it's all correct.
That's right. But if you just bought this trailer last year and you love the trailer, you just wish you had the off-road version, it's switchable. It's usually a change that can be made.
Okay. Rooftop tent, that's pretty, obviously you can add that.
Yeah, but some people are starting to make it standard, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think right now, initially, while this field of off-road and off-grid kind of rugged camping is growing, I think that if I'm shopping for that category, I like looking at all the rooftop tent options out there and choosing the one that I want to choose. So I wouldn't call it a deal breaker getting the trailer because I probably want to do the shopping for my perfect rooftop tent to add to it.
As long as the rack can hold the weight, that's all you have to compare.
Right.
Super easy. And if you're that type of person, then you probably are used to sizing up the gear that would work for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this next convenience we've already talked about, and it is the power awning.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a standard awning, you want to upgrade to a power awning. It depends on which kind you have. Some upgrade easily, some don't. Some you'd want to replace. If you are looking at buying a trailer and you want to upgrade to a power awning, not a good plan.
Go ahead and do it. It's already part
you
of the
need to find the trailer with the power awning already on it, already wired, ready to go. It's going to be so much cheaper that way. And the wiring sometimes is not, it's not a plug and play.
Okay.
So yeah, power awning, get that when you buy the trailer. Although it is an upgrade you can do.
Okay. I think so. A few of these next ones are going to be kind of like, scratch your head. They seem standards anyways, but they aren't always like the type of step that you have going into your trailer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have those kind of scissor style, accordion style. And then there's upgrades to like revolution steps and things.
Yeah. Or that solid step that actually just flips up and clips into the doorway. I love those.
Yeah. It's so sturdy and what have you and easy. However, is it a deal breaker?
I would say no.
Okay.
Steps are easy to upgrade. You just got to go with the size and how they go in. They can be changed on almost all trailers. And, that's something that's changed in the industry. I don't remember in the past having all of these step options.
Okay.
And now there's some cool stuff out there. So if you don't like your steps, there's probably another option.
Okay.
Electric brakes. Can you add those?
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
almost anything will have electric brakes standard.
Yeah. There used to be a few teardrops that didn't have electric brakes, but now pretty much everything does.
Yeah.
Everything does. I wouldn't worry about that.
Full size spare, as long as you have a place to mount it.
That's the deal, it's a space.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah. There's a reason that they gave you the smaller spare. And it probably is because it's mounted underneath and you needed the clearance.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's probably a reason for it. So if that's important to you, you just need to probably find another place to keep it.
Would you say a spare tire is usually standard, though?
Nope, it's crazy.
What?
Really?
I have seen that not be standard on trailers, so be sure to ask about it. Yeah.
That's a little mind-boggling.
But would it change your mind in buying a trailer? No.
Well, it's not that mind-boggling because the last 2 cars I've bought didn't come with a spare.
Not even a donut?
No. They come with those air patch kits that don't do any good unless you have like this tiny slow leak. But yeah, they don't you can buy a spare from the dealership, but it's not included anymore.
And they have this wonderful speech they give you about how you don't really need it. And this works great. And 97%, I mean, it's mind-boggling. But
yeah.
But it is one of the places where some car people, and apparently RVs as well, have found to cut corners.
Yeah.
But again, is that a deal breaker?
It's a circle. There's no corners. It's a tire. There weren't corners to start with.
I'm hungry again now because now I want donuts.
I do too. Let's wrap this up and get some donuts.
All right. What's next? We have...
Simple add-ons are swing away handles.
The Quick Connect gas port. We already talked about that earlier.
That's an easy add. So
built-in vacuum system.
Yeah, we've started seeing these in the R-Pods.
They're so fun.
Yeah, they are so fun. If you want to take up cabinet space, you can do it.
They're easy to add.
It's
not that hard.
much cabinet space,
Not that
right?
much cabinet space, but that's what it does. It takes up a cabinet front.
Okay, now vacuums, to me, it seems like they take up a fair bit of energy. Would that be on the 12-volt system? Or
yeah, it's a 12-volt system, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
Don't worry about it,
easy.
Clint.
Okay.
Yeah, just take up a little bit of your cabinet space.
All right, I'm gonna jump ship just a little bit. I think it's time to talk about pie in the sky. If you could add something to a trailer.
Record player.
Ooh, a record player.
Whoa.
Yeah, record player. So I can bring my records with me. Yeah.
Vinyl weighs a lot, but go for it.
I know, but I don't need to bring all 400 of them.
Oh, you can do like a record-based playlist for this trip.
Oh my God. Mind blown. Yes. But, okay, now I have an idea. Okay. Go ahead. You say yours.
Why couldn't you just carry your record player with you and set it in your trailer? I mean, come on. It's kind of like the microwave conversation.
Where are you going to put it?
On the countertop. On the table.
How much counter space is there in a small RV?
Okay, we could go. So
how much counter space?
Then get a big RV.
Just leave your spare tire at home. RV.
But they have these little things. They're like this big. Mm-hmm. And you like set it on top of a record. And
and the record
spins around.
You can't even see the device hardly.
Yeah, it like spins around the record and plays it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, can we put a link to that? I have never seen it, and I want.
I'm not sure if it works.
Does it work? All right, y'all tell us. Does this work?
Okay, so
what would you
anyway? Mine's record player.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm on record
what would yours
now. What would it be? Maybe a Nerf gun arsenal.
Like in people's houses when they're like millionaires, you like push a button and then it flips the wall over and there's like guns, but yours will be like Nerf guns.
And maybe water guns too, because my kids love those things.
No, you just want to shoot wildlife out
Squirt, squirt, squirt.
Oh, come on. Again. I mean, create your little pack and put it on your slide out tray.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with it. I'm not going to argue that it's...
But you have to... I mean, a record player is as big as this table right here. I mean, where am I going to put that in a, I don't know, a Soul Dawn?
Okay, well, I don't know. You guys are thinking way too logical for me.
I'm going to go back to the record player. I think that what's lacking here is a 12-volt record player so that she doesn't have to be plugged in to use it.
It's got to be out there.
Yes, and it has to be connected to some sort of speakers.
Well, like, that's what your little plug-in
record player.
No. That's what your little plug-in inverter is for. I mean, geez, Louise. You can buy a little plug-in inverter at Walmart that will play a record player.
Then where do I put the inverter?
Yeah, you plug it in.
The plug-in one, the little bitty one's tiny.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay. I think it's become a thing. I think you're going to have to do this.
I'll show you the inverter. You show me the cool little disc that plays records.
I'll show you my record playlist.
All right, there you go.
Upcoming.
I just want a hot tub.
A hot tub?
Mm-hmm.
Inside or like on a
patio?
Under the awning. With my Bluetooth speaker, not my outdoor speakers.
Because they make portable hot tubs.
That's what I want.
Like an inflatable one?
But I want it to
make portable hot tubs.
I want it to like fold up and be like maybe
like integrated.
Yeah, like a pull-out kitchen.
Okay.
So if we're talking pie in the sky, I have no idea how that would work. That's what I would love. If you're talking about things that you're wishing for, you want a Nerf gun arsenal.
Man, now
you want a
pie.
record player. All right, well, I tell you what, let's finish this up and go eat.
Okay, but first, head on over to our Facebook page, RV Small Talk Community, and tell us what your pie in the sky RV will have.
Or your donut in the sky, apparently. We're going for both.
Or tell us how we can make our dreams come true.
Yeah. Or tell us your non-negotiables.
Yeah. Tell us something.
To hear that.
I mean, anything. Head on over to Facebook. You can also email us pictures of you camping at rvsmalltalk@gmail.com.
Yep. Or just post them in the Facebook group. That'll work.
And you know what else you could do?
What?
You could actually subscribe to our podcast.
Uh-huh.
And if you're on iTunes, scroll down past all those listings of episodes and rate and review
Give
us.
us a rating. It really helps other people see our podcast who might not have discovered us.
Yeah.
When we get ratings like that. So it really helps just spread the word.
We would love that.
Yeah.
We would love that. Let's thank our sponsor and then let's let these poor people off the hook.
Okay. Once again, we want to thank NRVTA for sponsoring this episode. They are so good to us, and they're so good to the RV community out there. They are a resource. You really should look at what they offer. You will know everything you need to know to maintain or fix any system in your RV. And don't forget that 10% off code. Get their course on download or USB with a 10% discount using RV Small Talk at checkout.
And you know what, Clint? You're always talking about how you can learn to repair or maintain your coach. I just want to understand it.
Yeah, good.
I think people sometimes just want to understand, what am I looking at? What does it do? When does it work and not work?
Well, PJ, you can.
And Terry is so good at explaining that. I talk in circles. Terry just explains it so that absolutely anybody could understand it. I think this ought to be a must-have for any RVer, just to understand their rig.
Fantastic. Yeah, 10% off at nrvta.com. Do their home study course. Use that code RV Small Talk at checkout. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. This has been a blast this week.
How's it?
Yes, it has.
Yay!
I had fun.
Like super high on the toilet blast.
I would rate it an 8.5 on toilet height.
Well, after all this talk, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. Thanks for listening, guys.
See ya.